Welcome back to the Lethally Stupid Podcast. I'm Dyson. I'm here with Soren and Brandon. And today we're going to talk about some pets and pet stories, stuff like that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so you want to start us off, Brandon?
I will start
pet
us off.
stories first.
Yes, all right. So, the year was 2002. I think. That's kind of a guess. I think 2002, maybe 2003. So, way back when we had a Pomeranian. And I remember the day we went to go pick her up. So it was actually kind of weird. So the vet that we went to, on the desk there was a cat, a three-legged cat that would just hang out in one spot on the desk, and was just like the friendliest little guy. But that's all I know about him. So we would go to the back, and we went, and it was me and my mom, and which was awesome because I was the only one of my siblings that got to go pick out the new dog. And so we saw this one that looked like a fox, that was very energetic. Like, I got to be put in a pen with it, and it played around a lot, and it was awesome. And yeah, we ended up naming her Foxy and taking her home. And so Foxy, she was like just beloved by everyone. I remember being yelled at, and these are just random stories that just kind of come to my head. But I remember specifically, I would put a ball in between my legs, and she would come up and try to get it, and it looked completely inappropriate. And my sister and mom would just be like, "Brandon, stop that!" It's basically training the dog to just bite crotches.
I think South Park touched on that in an episode, but it was with horses.
I think I remember. When they use the carrot, dangle in
the
front
hot
of
dog.
them. Oh, the hot dog. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was great. But then I remember also one day there was a day where my stepdad came home, and he was hiding her in his jacket, got her out of the car and just was hiding her, and I followed him, and then he took her out, and then she was completely shaved except for her head. It looked like she had a mane.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest looking thing. It was a fucking rat with a mane.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen Pomeranians have that done.
Yes.
It's funny when they leave the feet too, the paws.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would be hilarious.
Little boots.
Yeah.
They shave those off, unfortunately, I think.
Oh, dang.
But yeah, it's
That's so much funnier.
Yes. Oh man, the main memories I have of her is she was so energetic and loving, but we ended up getting rid of her because my little brother was born.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, fuck him. I was about to say fuck him. Yeah. Little shit. And that's it. I never heard from her again.
How
was
does
just gone after
baby
that.
being born result in the dog going away?
Just because it was just, I don't know, just one of those things where they were just afraid of the combination of dog and baby. I think it would have been just fine.
Did she have a history of biting children or anything?
No, she wasn't. I don't remember her being violent. I mean, unless
How
I was
old were you?
Oh, I would have been about 8.
Okay. I wonder if there's something else you didn't know.
Maybe.
I mean, if you were 8, it's entirely possible you didn't know the whole story or the whole reason.
Right. Me, the roughness could have just been me having a good time. And then she, whenever I went away, she could have just been a completely evil dog.
Yeah, right, yeah. Brandon's not around, this dog's a psychopath.
Well, maybe not even that. Maybe it was I could handle wrastling her, but then no one else.
The commander of Pomeranians.
Yeah. The Pomeranian Whisperer.
General.
Yeah. And then many years later, whenever I turned 15, I had another dog. Her name was Leia. She was a mix of a golden retriever.
I remember Leia.
Yes.
I also have met Leia.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And a Chihuahua and Chow.
Yeah.
Which, not so much the Chow, but her dad was a Chihuahua, and her mom was the golden retriever.
Yeah.
And she was a very dumb dog. I always end up with the dumbest pets sometimes. There was one time where so she would run to my room every single day, And so there was just one day where I moved my bed across the room, and then she like had ran in there, jumped to where the bed was, and like damn near hit the wall. She did not think ahead.
Lights
ever.
on and everything?
Yeah, lights were on.
Like she should have saw that the bed was not where it used to be.
Yeah, yeah, she was just excited. She was an excited puppy. Oh, but she was great. She was actually, whenever I first got her, we were at PetSmart, and she had like the complete litter of siblings there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a black one that looked like her, that was just jumping right in front of her. And then I just sort of like looked past her and was looking at Leia, who was just laying there looking like a lump of shit. I was like, that one.
That one's
Learned
chill.
my lesson the first time. That one's a lot lower energy.
Yeah. It's like I had the interject dog.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of interject dogs, did you have an interject dog growing up? Did you have a lazy piece of shit dog who didn't do anything? Or maybe not even a piece of shit, just a lazy cool dog that just lounged around with wearing sunglasses, just being a cool little freak like that? Just let us know in the comments if you could. But yeah, speaking of that, Leia, like she was chill. She was such a chill dog, and at that point, that's kind of what I wanted. Like I was getting fatter and lazier.
Yeah.
The very
you wanted to chill too.
Yeah, the very first day we laid on my bed and watched TV together. She straight up watched TV with me. She was just staring at it, and my mom came in and sat next to us, and she was just like, "Oh well, you two just make a perfect pair."
Yeah.
And then
moms know how to roast sometimes.
Yeah. And then for like 2 years, I think, she would sleep in my room at night, and then anyone that would come through my door, she'd get up in their business. Like she's like straight up just attacked my mom before.
She's like, "Hey lady, I've known you my whole life, but don't fucking come in this room again."
This is not your room. This is not your son anymore.
This is my human.
Yes. I protect him now. But she was great, and then she was around. She was around for 12 years. When she was 10, I had to have her I had her stay with my grandpa, who would feed her cookies and stuff and just leftovers, and did not listen to me about not giving her just whatever the fuck. But
so she had some kind of like health stuff with certain things. She had to she couldn't eat, right? Or what was her health thing?
It was like it developed after the fact. She ended up having a couple tumors that were popping up. She had one or two, and they were benign, and they were on her stomach, and then it was maybe like okay at that point. But then another one started, and then and that's just when I decided it was time to put her down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
She was an awesome dog. She was a dork anytime I'd come over.
Oh yeah. She definitely had that like kind of dorky aura.
Yeah.
Like you just you love to be around her. She's so sweet.
Yeah, she was a sweet dog.
Yeah. Oh man, and like, gosh, whenever she did.
This episode's gonna be sad too.
Yeah. Whenever she did live at my grandpa's and I'd go visit her, she would take me on her path. She had a little trail, and then like on the trail she had like tall grass that she would be jumping around in, and I took it. One of the last pictures I took of her was her just like smiling in the tall grass. A little blade of grass going across her tongue.
She's like,
not intentional, but
awesome.
Her mouth was just completely open. And it was cute. So whenever we put her down, I cried like a bitch.
As one does.
So when you were a kid, it was mostly dogs for pets, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Not really cats or anything like that?
Nah, I wasn't really allowed to have cats.
Dog kind of family, yeah.
I kind of have I kind of know the reason why we weren't allowed to have cats. I'm going to tell this story. I don't care what my mom thinks.
Okay, yeah.
It's related to pets, so yes, let's do it.
Yes, okay, so when my mom was young, there was this litter of kittens that her cat had. And so there was one morning when she woke up and she looked outside, and my grandpa had a box of them and was grabbing them by the tail and whipping their heads against the concrete.
Jesus Christ.
And every time she tells the story, I can't help but crack up laughing. And she's like, Brandon, Jesus Christ, like it's not funny, and I'm just like, I know, but it is.
You're just like imagining it.
It's just
dark
the
humor.
and like her face
like,
just probably in horror.
Yeah, it's like the idea of like the terror of a small child is just as she's watching a box of kitten
doing that
beaten to
thing
death.
where is like the mama cat doesn't need a whole bunch of kittens, we just keep like 1 or 2.
Oh, he got rid of all of them.
All of them? Okay.
All of them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Just hated cats in general.
Yes, yeah. He was the type where it's like he would not put up with it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get your side of it.
And now,
Yeah, it was like if people didn't want to deal with it, the fucking heads got cracked against.
Connor's got
Yeah.
smashed against concrete. Yeah.
She got taken care of.
Jesus.
That's
So, yeah.
pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have actually have heard of something similar, but I'm not gonna describe it. It was a little bit worse.
I think we've gone into enough detail about that.
Yeah, it already
About-
justifies the
About
content
cat
warning.
killing. Yeah.
So speaking of cats, so my current animals,
None of whose heads have ever been bashed on anything.
yes, luckily, yes. So I have currently 6 cats. I have Mabel, Tit, Peanut, Pickles, Donut, and Gunky. And they are a family. You have the 2 lesbian lovers, Mabel and Tit, and their 4 children, Pickles, Peanut, Donut, and Gunky. People always we always introduce Gunky last because everyone thinks that that's like the hated child.
Right.
Which she totally was, because she was a complete cunt when she was a kitten. She didn't want anything to do with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the others were so loving. She's a lot loving now, but...
So the most loving one I've seen is Tit.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Tit.
rub up
Tit's been
against
having a
us
great
as soon
time.
as we got here for maybe 5-10 minutes straight.
I would
She
argue
was
that
right
Tit's
here.
just a whore.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah.
Are you saying whores can't love?
Yeah.
Yes. Love is diluted to the whore. I actually
can
have
only
a...
see 2 of the cats from where I'm
It
at.
must be bedtime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like to hide. They
Yeah.
also have an entire basement that's theirs.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
Right,
forgot
right,
about
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I actually have a funny story about Tit. Whenever Kayla and I first got together, for one, Tit is a man's cat. It's like if you're a man, she especially likes you.
Yeah.
It's odd that she'd be a lesbian cat.
Well, no, she likes she likes pussy. But when it comes to guys, she just likes males.
I think it better scratches, I guess.
Yeah, she was coming up to me over Kaylee, whenever I first moved in. But yeah, so there was one time where I had been I was completely naked, and we were in the bedroom, and Tit just comes up, and of course, we just let the cats just do whatever the fuck they want. We don't fucking care if they come close. We'll kick them away, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're just there, we're talking, and then all of a sudden I just feel this swipe. She totally just fucking.
What, credit card? Yes.
No, she started patting my dick.
Oh.
She straight up, it was a fucking ball on a string. She straight up just whacked it.
Oh, that would be too close for comfort.
Yeah. No claws, I'm hoping.
No, luckily,
yeah,
no. But I looked down and I was just like, what the fuck?
Like, Tit, don't do that.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is bad, Miss Kitty.
Yeah, I was waiting for the tail to just go right up your back.
But she has done weird seductive shit like that.
Maybe she's a human trapped in a cat's body.
Yeah.
She might be. She has a weird soul like that. She does act like she
You
has
put
a
your
different
hand
soul.
up high enough, she loves to stand up for the pets.
Yeah, she'll work for the
Yeah,
pets.
She
She
wants to be
yeah.
bipedal.
Yeah. She's
And-
like, give me the fucking pets.
Yeah, and she will be weird. If you don't show any interest in her, she might still be interested in you if you just completely ignore her. But you have to be a new person. If you completely ignore her, she'll stare you down. We had a friend that came from Nebraska that stayed the night. Tit was just sitting on the couch, staring at her, watching her as she was just laying there trying to sleep the entire time, from when she laid down to when she fell asleep. So she remembers the cat.
I don't know you.
Yeah. No, it's she was still nice. She's nice to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone that comes in. Like,
just
it's so
still stare
weird.
down like, you should have given me more pets.
Yeah.
I wanted more, you asshole.
Yeah, it's like, so if you're gonna stay in my house,
you gotta pay the pet tax.
yeah, you gotta pay the toll.
Yeah. Which one's the one that stinks?
Pickles.
Pickles, okay.
Oh, yeah, Pickles. I
Yeah.
mean, she didn't always stink, but
Uh-huh.
she just started caring less. It worries us, but she's been happier. She just still does not care.
Yeah, our
But-
cats bathes less. Yeah.
But she was also one to play in the litter box, so it just it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That she's just stinky.
Yeah, it's just getting to that point where it's like, it's like maybe she doesn't want to clean herself.
Yeah.
Like maybe she just likes the smell of her own filth. Like
Yeah. She's like, I'm tired of coughing up hairballs.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, you know what? I can't smell my ass well enough.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
Do what?
So I don't even know who I am anymore. I can't smell my own ass.
Yeah. When a cat can't smell her own ass, can you even call her a cat? Oh, but yeah, what can I say about the other ones? Gunky, let me get into Gunky. Okay, Gunky, total dyke. All right.
All your cats are lesbians?
Yeah, I think so. I
Okay.
think so.
That's what they're used to. They're around other,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Other
yeah.
female
So
cats.
the one male cat that we have, she
Mhm.
would come up and just start humping, like, and he'd be the only one.
Like, what?
But she was the dominant one in that relationship. And yeah, and sometimes he would just take it. Most of the time he'd fight, but like, oh my god, she was like the big cat for a while.
Yeah.
So until he was like, he did seem like he was a runt until he grew up. So until he became, the beef boy he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just his little, like, he was just a fucking fleshlight. Kind of. But, like, you can imagine a woman using a fleshlight. It's kind of like that. It's like, you don't even know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just a power thing.
Just,
Yeah.
power
The
move.
one has been a power thing.
Display dominance.
Yeah.
Anyway, who else should I talk about? Well, I don't have a lot of...
Not other stories for the rest of the
Yeah,
cats.
I mean, I've talked
They're
about the
just
cats
chill,
before.
regular cats.
I've talked about the cats before on
Yeah.
here. Like, I know I've talked about their nicknames, like Mabel, like, and usually their nicknames are just come from their actual names, but it's just they very slowly devolve. Like,
I think
Tit,
that just happens with cat owners.
that does, yeah. But Tit, her name's technically Stormy, but it went from like Kitty to Kit to Tits. Like, that's how that happened. And then we also have Mabel, who is Maybell, and then eventually My Balls. And then we have Peanut, who is PP, who is Peeps, who is Peeperino, who is Pepperoni, who is PP and J, who is he's got a lot.
Yeah.
And then we have Donut, who is Donut, Doge, Nut sometimes, then just the dough, and then also Dodo. We call her Dodo. Sometimes Dodo is the most appropriate.
Yeah.
And then we have Pickles, which Pickles, we kind of get into this thing where it really annoys her, where we go, Pickles, Pickles, get over here. Like, wait, Pickles.
He stopped for a bit like mother.
Pickles. Yeah, you see that? You see that?
Yeah.
You see that eye contact? Pickles.
It's like, fucking
Oh,
stop
no,
that.
she didn't. She's
Yeah.
ignoring me
I
now.
gotta validate that with a response.
She's
We were just talking about how
Yeah, I like
she likes to be dirty and stanky, but
Yeah.
she's cleaning herself right now.
I like
That's
how
the word it's talking.
cats sometimes, frequently, at least cats have really dumb nicknames. But I don't know. Like this video if you have a cat with a dumb nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know what that nickname is.
Yeah.
But the last one, then we have Gunky, whose full name is Gunky Gungus Chungus Armstrong Rice, her name was it started as Gunky, and then we were calling her Gunker, and then it kind of was Gunk, and I think it stuck as Gunk, but she has a catchphrase where it's "Here comes the Gunk" anytime
Yeah.
she scurries into the room.
So
That couldn't devolve anymore. Like,
Yeah.
that was just set.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about my cats. Who wants to? Who wants to
I'll rattle off like the pets I had, and then any stories I can think of. When I was a kid, we had April. I had a full-blooded Dalmatian named Chip. For a while, I'd have other random little pets, but we also had a cat named Tigger. This is the best cat I've ever had in my entire life.
Did I meet Tigger?
No.
No, okay.
No,
never mind. Someone else had a cat named Tigger.
Yeah, no, Tigger was dope. But April, I can't remember what kind of dog she was. She's the most unique looking dog I've ever seen. I can't remember for the life of me the breed that she was, or mix of breed. I'd have to ask my parents, who are probably asleep right now and don't have time to ask them right now. But
just call them right now. Guys,
she
you're
liked
on the
to
podcast. What breed was this dog?
Yeah, exactly. She liked to escape, so we had an entire clothesline. We didn't hang clothes out to dry, but we had an entire clothesline for the whole backyard that she was hooked to, so she could still move around the yard. But if she got off of that, she was gone. It was so many times she just disappeared. We're like, how the fuck did she get off that? So, which it used to just be like chains and stuff like that, but my mom very against that. She's like, no, we're not just gonna leave a dog on a chain. So my dad was like, fine, fucking huge clothesline, wrap her on that. She's like, all right, she can move across the entire yard. She just can't get out anymore. Not really any stories with her besides she loved to sleep with my pet duck that I had for a while. We had a duck out there who got too fat, couldn't fly away. So it would stare down the side of our house. Slugs would go up them all the time. And he'd, one eye, as hardcore as he could, just stare it down. And as soon as there's a little bit of movement, faster than you could blink, it would, and fucking swallow that thing down. Which, he was just my pet duck. I didn't have a name for him.
Did you ever,
had him for a little bit.
Did you ever see him, slurp up on the slugs, like in a Rugrats cartoon?
He never did that, but he just immediately.
It's a lot more violent when you see things.
Yeah, he was violent, and even though I loved him, he loved to chase me around and fucking nip at me and stuff like that. But it was a Bill. He wasn't bite me hard. He just liked to chase me. It was fun for both of us. I'd run and scream, but I wasn't actually terrified. I was like,
"It's not a goose we're talking about."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was a duck. He was cool, and he'd try to fly away, but he couldn't get high enough to get over the fence. he was too fucking fat.
How do you
eat April's dog food and stuff like that?
How'd you get him? Did you sort of just lay
my
there?
dad kind of kidnapped him from Kellogg Lake in Carthage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because he knew I liked ducks, and he was just he was there one day and just that duck was away from the other ducks.
Freed out.
And he was just I'm gonna kidnap this duck. I'm gonna duck nap it. He duck napped it.
Yeah, that's the
we
duck.
had our house was one of the only houses, my old one, that had a breezeway. So the long stretch of house that connects your garage to the house itself. That's where we had the duck for a while until it got too fat that it couldn't fly away, and then eventually he just took it back to Kellogg Lake.
Yeah, that's the duck you hear about on after school specials.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's don't be that duck.
Chip,
that
our Dalmatian, he was a fucking menace. We had to really make sure he didn't get out or escape because he liked to go kill farm animals and stuff
Jesus
like that.
Christ,
he also liked to
dog
fight
shot.
other dogs, and by fight other dogs, I mean absolutely fuck up other dogs.
Dalmatians are
they can be
more aggressive than people realize.
Yeah, they used to be one of the most dangerous dog breeds on the planet. Over time they've lessened that from other breeds that have been brought up, but Dalmatians they don't fuck around. Super loving to anyone, like my mom, my dad, and I. He knew how to be gentle and not hurt even little baby toddler me. But if another dog somehow got into our yard or anything like that, that motherfucker was probably gonna try and kill it. He did not like other dogs hanging around. Cool with April. He's like, oh yeah, this is just our other dog that I won't fight, but he would fight other dogs all the time. Then when my mom and dad got divorced, he took Chip. We gave April to some family friends where she escaped, and we never saw her again. And we had Tigger until a crazy neighbor lady of ours. We thought he just disappeared forever. It turns out he was kidnapped. Our cat Tigger. There's a hilarious home video of me trying to sit on him and ride him like a horse. The cat. I was very small. And I was like, and
he's like, no.
Yeah, I was nude because a little baby running around. I decided, I'm gonna take all my clothes off, and then as I was pretending to ride him, I pissed on him, And in the home video, he takes off like, but he was an inside-outside cat. He did both. We didn't have a litter box or anything like that. He would just go up to the door and like scratch it a few times, and then if someone didn't immediately come, he'd be like, just occasional meows, just meow, just like someone go open this fucking door, I need to go piss or shit, and probably bang. He's probably banging too. And, tomcat.
I got stuff to do outside. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, I have shit to take care of. Yeah, he was awesome. He was the most chill cat I think I've ever seen. He would just hang out on the couch, hang out. He would watch TV with us. He would just watch us. He'd hang out with even me. A lot of cats maybe aren't big fans of little kids. Any cat I've had after Tigger was never a fan of a little kid. But he'd just hang out with me. I'd be sitting there on the couch watching whatever, or in my bedroom, and he'd just cuddle up next to me, and I'd like, hell yeah, this cat is so dope. My mom would fill up the bathroom sink of water, and that's what he'd drink out of. He had a water bowl and food bowl, but he liked to drink out of the bathroom sink. Had to be completely full. So she'd pull up the little thing to stop it, and I was an asshole. So I'd go in there when he'd be drinking it, and I would press it down so all the water would start to go down. And the look he would give me, he'd watch it go down, and he'd just, like, his eyes just so fucking half closed, like, you little shithead. Like, motherfucker, like, why did you do that? So then he'd stand there and he'd wait until he got more water. He was just like, I wasn't done. He'd just stand there, and Mom would come to the bathroom later. She's like, Tigger, what are you still doing in here? And he'd just look at the water like, what do you think? My mom's fucking gone. Those were the only ones I ever really had in my house for a long time. But when I would go to my dad's, of course, I'd still get to see Chip and all his dogs. Bo taught him how to fight more, was a black lab that my dad had. And eventually there was a dog he rescued named Lucky. A lot of these dogs ended up getting killed because Bo died of old age, but the other dogs would be killed by farmers who lived around, because they would go fuck with the animals or kill the animals. Chip never got killed or anything like that. I think he was always smart enough to go kill an animal and then disappear too fast for the farmers to notice. He loved goats. He would kill and eat goats, entire goats. And we would just find bones in the yard and be like, is this a goat skull? And he'd just walk up with it one day like, what did you do? Yeah, like, that's mine. Yeah, trying to think of other stories with Chip, because, I mean, he's a Dalmatian. He did crazy shit.
And, you guys ever own a Dalmatian? Let us know about it in the comments.
Yeah, the Dalmatians are cool.
Are they as aggressive as people say? I've heard the only Dalmatian I ever had experience with was a very aggressive dog.
Yeah, they were fucking aggressive, dude. They are.
It makes you wonder if they had 101 pit bulls, if they would have the type of reputation they have now.
Probably, I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Personally.
if Dalmatians are as aggressive as you say, then there's got to be enough instances.
A movie that could help pit bulls not have such a bad rap, probably.
Yeah.
So there's got to be enough incidents with with Dalmatians attacking to where it could be a concern, but no one wants to attack Dalmatians.
I'm pretty sure the issues arose because of the Disney movie. People would get Dalmatians for their kids, and Dalmatians, especially when they get older, tend to go deaf. So they can be startled easily. They also tend to have issues with, I guess, celiac the Dalmatians can have, or something like that. But yeah, they get some health issues, and they get just persnickety. They get kind of angry as they get older.
Which is definitely true. Chip had some anger issues as he got older. With other pets and stuff like that my dad had. He was not a fan.
Yeah, but a lot of people getting them for children because of that movie.
Yeah.
So they probably wouldn't be, there wouldn't be as many Dalmatian attacks, I don't think, if people hadn't gotten them for small children. If they had continued to be essentially working dogs. Because
that's what they originally were they were working dogs.
Yeah.
Because, there are things that Dalmatians work really good for. That's why they're depicted as like the firefighter dog. Because they were great firefighter dogs.
Also because they go deaf a lot of the times, they don't mind the fire engine.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's like, it's deaf anyways, it's not going to care that we blast this fucking engine, and then it would go, dogs mostly use their nose anyways, so
Yeah.
it wasn't, it would be fine.
And they're like, yeah, just watch the little fucker, and they like blow an air horn in its ear.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
does
it's just
nothing.
like doesn't it? Yeah, and then so then it's like, oh hey, what's going on?
What?
Yeah, what?
What the fuck was that?
Yeah. I guess when I was younger, I did have a mouse for a little while. Did you guys ever have like little chicks and like mice and stuff like that for pets?
We've had chicks on
Chicks,
a lot
yeah.
of occasions,
Uh,
but
uh,
never had mice. We had hamsters one time.
Hamsters,
That was a
I've never
traumatic
had
hamster
hamsters
experience, honestly.
or gerbils or anything like that, but I'd constantly have like chicks and pet mice. There was a mouse that I had that we called Morris, or because when I was little, I sounded very much like a hick. Like just how my voice was, so he was Maurice.
Maurice.
He's Maurice the mouse, and there's a video of me watching him run on the new wheel we got him, and I excitedly pointed at it and to everyone that was there for the party we were having. I was like, look, him running on him wheel.
So talented. I had like 2 ducks at one point where I kept in my
love ducks.
house for a week,
Mhm.
and it was because like
Oh, they're so fucking messy, dude.
I kept them
They
in,
smell awful.
yeah,
gotta
it was
have
just
them
for
outside.
a week. It was just for a week.
Yeah,
I kept
and
them in a
you have
tote
to
with
change the
newspaper.
fucking water that they drink out of and stuff constantly. Because
Yeah.
when they eat, they splash it everywhere,
They're so
and they're
messy,
so
yeah.
they're so messy that they dirty all the water and
Yeah.
shit. That's like
But yeah, we.
That's why my dad got rid of the duck I had.
So we would
because
take.
he was tired
We
of
would,
dealing with it.
we would take like a duct tape roll and teach them how to jump through the hoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we taught them little tricks like that.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That was cool.
Oh, they were
Yeah.
such a good time. Like,
My dad's gone through tons of dogs. He had one named Blue. It was just a blue heeler, where he could get her to bite a rope, and then he could pull her up, and she'd just hang there for as long as she could. And she would do it for so long. He'd get tired before she did. He's like, fuck, I gotta put her down. She's, and then, they shot her the next day. But no, I'm just not that kind of down. No,
The dog's too strong.
No, I think he gave her away is what he did with that one. Not all of them. Not all of my dad's dogs were shot by farmers or him because they were causing problems.
a little bit random, but if I were to decide that I need to put down a dog because it's getting too dominant, I would get my next dog and make it watch me put it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fix that problem.
Real quick. Yeah. My dad and my grandpa, they lived together, and they never really had cats as pets. There's just always cats there at the property. So none of them were ever named. There's just literally an army of cats there. And then there's still to this day an army of cats. It keeps a lot of mice out there. Not a lot of pests out where my dad lives. But there's a lot of funny stories with those cats. So it's mostly just wild cat stuff, them doing crazy wild cat things. Or, fighting Chip and getting killed. But it's like he'd leave them alone, they'd leave him alone, and then when they didn't leave him alone, he would kill. We never put down Chip or anything like that. We gave him away to I think a group of Mexicans, like a Mexican family.
Okay.
I think he went out peacefully there.
Yeah, for dinner.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, at that point he was so old that he was deaf and he was blind in one eye from all the fights he'd been in. He'd fight the neighbors' bulldogs on a daily basis because other dogs would just show up. It's out in the country, and we'd hear it outside. We're like, "What the fuck's going on?" We'd look out the window, and out in the road, there's just a bunch of dogs fighting.
Dog fight club.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a dog fight club. Yeah. Trying to think of any other good stories that I had with like my animals. My most recent animals, I have Rex, my border collie red heeler mix. I mean, most of his stories are, he's just a smart dog. There's no funny stories with him. Our cat though, Talon's cat Avers, there's plenty of funny stories with him because he's such a fat fuck. So it's funny to watch his huge size leap from the floor to literally the bar, which is higher than the rest of all of our countertops and everything. But he's just like, I don't want to be up there. and it's almost like physically incomprehensible. Like, how the fuck does he do that? Because he's so fucking big.
Your
And
cat never skips leg day.
That's one of those things where, like, a cat wants something, doesn't think about it, and
Mhm.
does it. But if it intentionally wanted to jump up somewhere,
Mhm.
like, just to jump,
Yeah.
it couldn't do it.
They do that thing where they get halfway and fall.
Yeah, it's
When
like, that's
we-
when they're fat all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, oh
When we-
crap.
It's like, that's right.
I remember when we first got him, it was one of the weekends I was staying at my dad's, and it was shortly after my grandpa's dog, named Doc, had died, so my brother was sad about that, because we're over at my grandpa's all the time and hanging out with his pets and stuff. So he was sad about that. He finds these kittens at his other grandparents' house, so we take one of them. They bring him home, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got a new kitten." I was like, "Oh cool. Well, what do we name him? What's its name? What's its gender? Stuff like that." And they're like, "Oh, we're calling her Abby. It's a girl." Not a girl. Abbers is not a girl. But originally named Abby because some of my family thought it was a girl. My mom never checked, and I never checked because I believed them.
Mm-hmm.
It was my
Yeah.
stepdad and Talon who had checked. I mean, he was a little kid; he didn't know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was much younger then, and then the cat's first vet visit. Oh yeah, it's a boy. It's like, oh
That
okay.
happens.
Well, we've already been calling him Abby.
I hear that
So it's
happens
like
a lot.
Abbers. Yeah, so it changed to Abbers, and then like the nickname thing, it eventually became to a bunch of different things. My mom calls him Chicken Wicken a lot. I don't know why. I call him Abercrombie a lot instead of just Abbers. It's like, oh, what's up, Abercrombie?
Cats don't really have names.
No,
the
they
same way
don't.
dogs do most of the time.
Yeah, like
You just
he-
call them whatever.
He understands his name is Abbers, but he purposely doesn't look over a lot of the time. But
I love when cats do the slow head turn.
Mhm,
That's
like
hilarious.
one, yeah. And Rex has had nicknames, yeah, Rexers, stuff like that. Instead of just Rex, I'm like, oh, hey Rexers, as I go to let him out. Most of the funny stories with pets are like my grandpa's pets that he's told me when my mom and like Uncle were a kid. He had a huge Saint Bernard named Bandit that he put my mom and Uncle Gregory when they were kids in like this in like one of those red wagons and tied them to it, and they were just going around the yard. A cat appears out of nowhere. He decides to chase said cat with them in the wagon that they are tied to the dog.
That's hilarious.
And my grandpa's like, shit, and he got so far away so fast that he had to get in the truck and like find them. He finds the wagon, it's tipped over in a ditch just like fucking 3-4 blocks away. But my mom and her older brother sitting next to it just laughing their heads off, and he's like, okay, thank God they're okay. Now I need to go find this fucking dog. And so he had to go find Bandit with a fucking long ass rope tied around him as he chased down a cat. I'm trying to that same dog. My Uncle Gregory had brought out he had a huge glass of Kool-Aid, like this big, filled to the brim, red Kool-Aid, wearing a white T-shirt. He's outside walking with it, and my grandpa could see it in slow motion. He was like, no. Because Bandit comes blasting through, hits him, so he flips in the air, but he flips so fast he lands on his ass, and none of the Kool-Aid had spilled or got on him, and he just sat there in astonishment, just like, what the just happened?
But he didn't get his white shirt ruined.
And I was like, okay, well, if my grandpa's telling me this has to be true, but I have to confirm with my uncle.
Yeah.
And just say, like, I'm like, that Grandpa told me a story about Bandit, like, flipping you, and I didn't say anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me the exact same story. I was like, okay, it has to be true then, because my uncle doesn't just come up with shit like that. He's just like, oh yeah, like, I don't know how I didn't spill that thing. And he's like, man, would a Grandpa have been pissed if I had stained that white shirt with all that Kool-Aid? He's like, he would not have been happy.
It's
It doesn't
fantastic.
sound like it would have been his fault.
Right, yeah, and no, it wouldn't have been. But no, my
But
grandpa
during
always
that
had
time,
like
it don't matter.
my grandpa always had like bird dogs. So it was, I mean, he had that Saint Bernard and his other bird dogs, but it was just like, it was not someone I would know to have a Saint Bernard. But he was a super smart dog. He just hated cats and would chase them. I think that's why he ran into my uncle. Actually, I think he saw a cat and was
Mm.
chasing it. So any funny stories with him involved chasing a cat. That dog hated cats.
Some dogs, they really
Yeah.
just will
they
kill the fuck out of cats.
Yeah, they're
Some
not
are
happy
totally
about
chill.
it.
Most of my dogs throughout my life have been totally chill with cats. It's been
Yeah.
very few that actually really don't
Yeah,
like them.
no, my current dog, he's totally cool with cats. He doesn't care.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the owners.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like their attitude towards cats.
I mean, we introduced our cat to our dog when he was a very small puppy, and was hanging out with him. And at that point, Evers was so fucking huge compared to him. It was like, Evers could have literally sat on him and suffocated him. But he still wasn't a fan of dogs, even when Rex was little. But he would like hang out with him and sniff him at least and stuff. He's like,
Gotcha. Speaking
"Oh,
of
this
that,
little dog.
would
I
you
like
like to have a cat sit on you and suffocate you? Let us know in the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. Yeah, besides that, I mean, I've had so many pets over the years, but not a lot of them are. I mean, they all had their little funny quirks and things like that, but none of them have like really insane stories. I guess Avers, when we first got him, did once he got to a certain age, started doing his fucking crazy run around shit in the house and stuff.
Yeah.
Get the zoomies. I came downstairs one day to get my breakfast. He follows me down the stairs and he runs along the couch that I'm walking next to. And once I got past it, he's like, "What the fuck? This guy's ignoring me." So he jumps as far as he can and lands over my shoulder. Like, front half is leaning over this side, back half is leaning on the back of me. I'm just like, what the fuck was it? Because
He's like, "Hey,
it
what's
scared
up?"
the fuck out of me. I was like, I'm just walking.
You were ignoring me.
Groggy as fuck, and I hear the on the
Yeah.
on the couch as he's running, and then like, oh, like, what the fuck, dude? He also loved to watch people pee, mainly me. He'd walk into the bathroom. If I was going into the bathroom, he'd be like, and he'd just come into the bathroom and just look up at me as I pissed, and I'd be done. He'd be like, okay, you go back to whatever he's doing. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It could be.
He grew out of that, but
It could also just be a compliment to yourself.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
mesmerizing.
yeah, maybe. I hope so. I can only hope that was the case.
I mean, like,
thank you, Evers. I'm flattered.
It reminds. I have this joke about my gay awakening where it's like, where for the quick context, basically, like my stepdad handed me playing cards that were male nudes on it, and the joke is, like, at the time I was like, oh, they get that big. It was-
I had a black lab named Raven for a while. We took turns naming our pets, so I named our dog Raven because of, well, Teen Titans, yeah. And she was a sweet dog. She never really did anything funny. She was just a cool, fun dog. And then Talon named Rex, so. And Evers. Both of those are his pets, technically. He also named my grandpa's cat named Crackers because we found him on 4th of July. Just hanging out with us, watching the fireworks with us. This kitten just appeared. We're watching. And then during the flashing of all the fireworks, we're like,
Cat.
there's an orange kitten next to us. Where the fuck did this thing come from? And Talon was immediately in love. He was just like, I'm going to call him Crackers. And my grandpa kept him for him. And that was the fastest cat I've ever seen. That cat could just fucking sprint across the whole yard so fast. It loved to kill squirrels.
Nice.
So it was funny just because it also couldn't control itself very well if it was running too fast. There's a lot of wipeouts and like cartwheels with that cat where it'd just be running and then fucking flip through the air. Like, Jesus, buddy. Like, calm down.
It was probably the squirrels that, like, encouraged him to get quick.
No, I
Like,
guess so, because he
quick
was
to catch squirrels.
fucking
Yeah.
super fast.
He's like, I got to be able to catch this thing.
Yeah, and he's like, he probably missed one time, and he was like, never again.
Yeah.
Even if I fucking cartwheel 10 feet through the air because I fucking ran too fast. Because he did that a lot. He did not live a long life.
It would be great if he, like, accidentally tackled one doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And then the dog my grandpa has now, Briggs, is like the fucking biggest bred of a dog ever. He's super smart, which makes it worse. Because he does a lot of funny stuff, but he does it on purpose. He'll come up to you and he'll be like, he knows that he stepped in mud, and to be an asshole, he'll be like, just wipe it down your jean leg. You're like, or if it's shorts, it's summertime, down your leg. Doesn't do that unless his leg's muddy. If he's completely clean, we'll go for handshakes and stuff. He loves the handshake. He loves it so much that he'll keep going. You handshake him for 5 minutes and he's back up on your knee. As you're sitting there, he's just like, I'm done we savored. And then he'll put the second one up there. He likes to double shake, where it's like, buddy, like, get the fuck out of here. And he just smiles the whole time. He's like, I know I'm pissing you off so much right now. He's like, but I love it. Yeah, he loves to annoy people, and he'll do it. He knows what annoys people. He'll figure it out. Like one of my grandpa's buddies doesn't like when dogs walk in front of him. He doesn't have the best vision. Dog brings constantly right in front of him, trying to trip him. We're like, well, how do you figure that out? He doesn't do that to anybody else. He won't walk right in front of him, but he'll literally walk right, or he'll appear from behind something and get out in front of him to trip him. We're like, you are a fucking asshole.
I'm of the opinion dogs understand humans really well just because of the path they've taken through nature with us.
No, I agree.
My mom's ex had a really old bulldog that would just like go shit on the floor and look back and just stare at you the entire time, and it'd be after you pissed him off. He was a complete asshole like that. Yeah.
My dad for a while had a dog named Thor. He was half German Shepherd, half wolf. So he was very big, and he had fucking huge sharp teeth. But he knew how to sneak up on things. I don't know how many possums I'd watch this dog kill whenever I go see my dad. And he'd sneak up right on it, and then the next thing you know, you're hearing him shake it, and then you hear little thumps, random places around the yard. It was baby possums being launched out of the possum he was vigorously shaking. That dog has more funny stories than any of my other dogs or my dad's dog. That dog was insane.
Bad that I want to see that.
Terrified of footballs.
Really?
Like pigskin footballs or anything shaped like them. He did not like them. We got him a toy to play with. This is how we figured it out. It's one of those like ones that you can like stick your hand through and stuff, like the almost zigzaggy lined ones. Mm-hmm. And I came out of the truck with it, and I was like, hey, you want to, play catch with it? And he was just like terrified of it immediately. I was like, so I started moving closer to him. He'd get down and he'd run. And I'd or if he was ever annoying us, I'd just grab it and and just fucking take off. Other toys he'd love to do. His favorite thing, there was a rotting tree my dad had for a while. He'd rip bark off of and throw it over, and he'd just fucking rip that to shreds. Then he figured out, he's like, oh, he's ripping it off of this tree. So he'd just start ripping bark off of that tree. We'd be sitting there and you just hear as fucking shit ton of bark is ripped off. We're like, oh. Yeah, Thor decided he was bored and wants to chew up some bark. He loved to chew up and destroy things. There's those little like white bone deals, almost like the rawhide. Mm-hmm. So my dad would buy like the kind of longer, skinnier ones that are still kind of small. Mm-hmm. Buy those. He'd shred those up in no time. He got a pit bull pup towards the end before Thor disappeared. Because Thor disappeared, we don't know what happened to him. The farmer probably shot him. But Kane was the name of the puppy. My dad would give him those rawhide treats. Mm-hmm. He would just swallow them whole, like not chew them. We're just like, bud. Wait, like the first time we did that, we had to be like, oh, whoa.
He's like, what?
Yeah, so if we didn't stop him for that, that's how he would eat them. We just like, no, chew it up. You see Thor? Oh, motherfuckers already chewed it up completely because he's a fucking super sharp fucking wolf teeth over there. And they would play fight with each other, but fucking Thor had like wolf teeth, so he would get a good grip on like Kane's skin, and you could see it like stretching way off of his body, and he would just yell. He'd be like, just screaming. So then he'd just chase Thor around, and Thor ran from him. Those were great. But shortly after Thor disappeared, Kane also disappeared. Oh. It was sad.
Yeah.
And then my dad didn't have dogs for a while because those were the dogs he really liked. They were super fun
when
dogs.
you lose a dog you really like, it's hard to get another one for
Yeah.
a while.
And now he's a dog that he just calls girl. Because normally he just calls him boy, like to get their attention and stuff. And he's like, I'm tired of trying to name dogs. And so he's like, girl, can you get over here? So he's got girl, and now he has 2 little pups, Teddy and Odie, like named off of the
Garfield.
from Garfield. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. No funny stories with them yet.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
done.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Soren, we might want to go ahead and jump onto your stories.
I don't know. We're pretty far into this one, aren't we?
We can have a long one.
Well, unless you want to do a whole podcast about the farm.
I mean, I do have technically a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we can.
So,
We can do another. Well,
So-
I mean, like, do we want to do another one tonight, boys? Or
yeah, I'm down if you want.
Yeah, I can do another one. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to this one. Tune in later for part 2. Kind of, but not really part 2. This one's gonna be about a farm.
Yeah. I mean, there are pets too. Plenty of pets on the farm.
Yeah.
Pets 2, the farming.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. I had a lot of pets, so I have a lot to. I just like to
that's
talk.
good, yeah.
I like to talk about my pets. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of stories, but I loved all my pets. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, why have them if you don't love them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Toodaloo.